beautiful sunny Wednesday, November 9th, 2022. Going to take a ride on train 3243, connecting to 4243 down to Bayhead on the North Jersey coastline. People have been wanting me to do this for a while, and I figured, hey, why not?
North Elizabeth, Dorset, Elizabeth, Linden, Broadway, Woodbridge, First Amboy, South Amboy, Avenue Mattawan, Hazlitt, Middletown, Red Bank, Little Silver, and Long Branch.
Okay, departing Penn Station, 1243 on train 3243, bound for Long Branch, with a connection to 4243 to Bayhead. Engine is ALP 46A 4649. Actually found a relatively clean window. Resume when we get out of the tunnel. Okay, I'm sitting on the right side for a little while. We're just departing Secaucus. Once we leave the main at Broadway, we should get a better sun angle where I can sit on the left-hand side. First car on the lower level, right behind the engine. We're in a double-decker car. Looks like here they're doing some work on improving upon the portal bridge right here, the drawbridge. Goes over the Hackensack River. Here it is, the portal drawbridge. No delay going over that today. Old-time TV show buffs. This section of track was featured in the opening scene to that Marlo Thomas comedy, That Girl. They showed a head-end ride down this track. There's the West Lake to the Kearney connection, connected to the Morristown line. And this is where the eastern and western spurs of the New Jersey Turnpike join. There it goes, you'll see the Morristown line underneath. Right there. The old Delaware, Lackawanna, and Western Main Line. There's the old Hudson Tower. Amtrak ballast hoppers. The track you see with third rail is the Newark bound track on the path system. Between it, the Northeast Corridor, and the Morristown line over there, huge amount of passenger train traffic goes through here. And there goes the Morristown line. He's headed towards Broad Street, Newark. We're headed towards Penn Station, Newark. And here's the Path Harrison station. The area looks like it's being revitalized. Tracks are heading up an elevated structure, heading for Newark. They have an upper level station for inbound trains. And we're about to cross over the dock drawbridge over the Passaic River. Arriving Newark Penn Station, track 4. Moved over back to this side again. Didn't want to risk losing it, because I know the view out this window will be better once we change direction after Rahway. Seems like I always have to move back if I want to get off at the stations I go to. Shores portal where the connection to the Conrail Shared Assets Lehigh line can be reached. Today we're going to go down the storied North Jersey coastline. Combination of the old Perth Amboy and Woodbridge between Rahway and Perth Amboy, and the New York and Long Branch from Perth Amboy the rest of the way to Bayhead. New York and Long Branch were jointly owned by the Pennsylvania Railroad and the Central Railroad of New Jersey. Now it's all New Jersey Transit. There's the shared assets line up there. Part of Portal interlocking. Or excuse me, Hunter interlocking. Not Portal. These automobiles are parked, believe it or not, years ago that was loaded with freight cars. That was part of the Pennsylvania Railroad's vast Waverly Yard. Coming into Newark Airport. The brakes on these Bombardier cars always sounds like somebody spitting. Actually, the brakes on these sound more like somebody trying to blow out a birthday cake. Make a wish and blow out all the candles. From the outside, when these cars put their brakes on, it sounds almost like a cat in agony. Signal 113. Sun angle's a bit better here, but it'll get even better. The mighty hath fallen, Waverly Yard. Look at all the grass, weeds, and plants growing over there.
Local train of Long Branch, next station stop is North Elizabeth.
Boy, this is a real local stopping at North Elizabeth. Not exactly the broker. That was a famous Pennsylvania Railroad rush hour train between Exchange Place, Jersey City and Bayhead. Made limited stops. Had a subscription car on it. The Wall Street elite rode that train. Didn't even stop at Newark. Back in steam days, it was if you were standing on the platform at Newark, the broker would come through with a K4 steam engine blasting through. That was quite a sight, I'll bet. ago, back in Pennsy days, Penn Central days, and early New Jersey transit days, some New York to Bayhead trains were powered by GG1s out of New York, and they swapped engines at South Amboy. Usually picked up a hodgepodge of units there, take you the rest of the way to Bayhead. Then they later electrified to Matawan, Aberdeen, and then in the late 80s all the way to Long Branch. Jersey Central trains came down the Jersey Central main line. They came down from Jersey City, Elizabethport, Newark Market Street Station, joined up just between Woodbridge and Perth Amboy. I think that was Wood Interlocking. Ran down to the North Jersey coast. When the Aldine plan was created, I think that was back in '67. That ended the Jersey City and Newark Market Street service for the CNJ, and then they ran out of Newark Penn Station. Soon after, the Jersey Central ordered a fleet of GP40Ps painted blue with CNJ logo on the front and the letters CNJ on the side. If that sounds familiar, it's because the 4109 on New Jersey Transit has the exact same paint scheme. And that was an original one of those GP40Ps. And a lot of those engines are still in service for NJT. What I remember about those GP40Ps, when they first came to the railroad, they had a very high idle. When they came into Newark, they had a high idle and they made a racket. They were bi-directional. But those same engines today, including the NJDOT painted 4101, are not bi-directional anymore. Down track 4. Arriving Elizabeth.
Yeah.
And here we pass over the old Royal Blue route, used by CNJ and B&O passenger trains. That was obviously a Keystone train that passed us going to Harrisburg, because it was push-pull. Years ago, I rode on a few of those North Jersey coast trains down to Red Bank and Bayhead. They had GG1s with P70 coaches. Then they got a fleet of silver NJ dot coaches. Even had cars from the old Great Northern. Train used to run down there carrying nothing but those old Great Northern cars. They used to call it the Jersey Builder. It was a colorful time.
Next station stop will be Linden. Passengers receiving the last 3 open cars, walk forward to exit. Linden will be next. Last 3 open cars, walk forward to exit. Use the end doors only when you'll see a crew member. Linden next, last 3 cars, walk forward to exit.
Going around Elizabeth S curve. You can hear the wheel flanges screeching. And we're about to go through Elmora interlocking here. We start 6 tracks. We'll be running down track B.
Pace horses. What's happening? Yeah. We're done.
These lower level seats are kind of nice. You can really hear the track sounds.
Jaron. I know. I gotta get a text message. Yeah.
Once again, the next station stop is Linden. Last 3 open cars, walk forward. Use the end doors only when you'll see a member of the crew. Linden next, end doors only next.
We seem to be running down track 4. Is track B closed? Do they have gangplanks out at Linden?
Yep.
And listen to those brakes. Sound like leaky steam pipes.
It's pointless. Yeah. It's pointless. We're done. We gotta wait. Yeah, we gotta wait for the finish.
You don't need Rich Little to do impressions. Just put one of these cars out there and make noises. They make a lot of impressions on their own.
And then they wait for the heat trace and let them know when we're ready. All right. Yep. I don't see him on it. What happened with one pen? Yeah, all right.
Oh, here's the B&O bridge.
All right, you told them already though, right? You want to do it this weekend? Okay. All right. Yeah, okay. And Hollywood is good for Friday, Saturday, right? All right. Yep, you got it. Well, yeah.
What the heck is that? Thank you. Ah, here's the Penzie Heritage Unit. Well, if you looked at one of my previous videos, some employee left his calling card on the Lackawanna engine, stating how lousy that engine is, the Penzi. Oh yes, there are gangplanks here. Track B is out of service. Beautiful day today. Not a cloud in the sky, upper 50s, more like November. Monday was really warm, like 78 degrees where I live.
Focus in a long branch, next station stop over your waterways. It'll be your last chance to change for connection for Trenton. Again, this is Long Branch local. Waterway station is next.
Linden is the site of the former General Motors freight yard. Not much there today. Take a look at the vacant GM yard here. And they store some tank cars here for ethanol. NS does run some trains of ethanol or crude oil to Linden. Passing by the Merck Pharmaceuticals factory. It's a huge place. Used to be a station here called North Rahway. Served this plant. Okay, arriving Rahway. Great train watching spot on the corridor. Okay, after here we'll go through Union Interlocking and we'll enter the North Jersey coastline, the old Pennsylvania Railroad, what they call the Perth Amboy and Woodbridge.
Woodbridge? Yes.
Woodbridge will be the next stop. Site of a wreck in 1951 of the broker. The broker had to slow down for temporary track due to a temporary bridge replacement. They had to take a shoe fly. Engineer kind of went through there a little too fast and train derailed and people were killed, and they initially blamed it on the engineer what happened, but further investigations found it was the Pennsylvania Railroad that was negligent for not putting proper safety signs out along the railroad to warn of this. This is part of Union Interlocking. There's the old tower. Here's where we change direction and start heading south. We're now on the North Jersey coastline. North Jersey coastline has some scenic seaside vistas. Further down, south of Long Branch, go over a number of canals. Some of them I know, but others I don't know. I'll insert the names of those later. I know the Manasquan Inlet is the most noteworthy. The Brielle Drawbridge, the Navesink River coming into Red Bank. There's a Shark River somewhere. Should be US 1 and 9 there. is the 2-track line now. Station is Avenel. The majority of the trains that go through here are long branch bound trains. During the rush hour, they run a few through New York Bayhead trains. And in the rush hours, they also run some South Amboy trains. Arriving Woodbridge, Center Island High Platform. Looks a lot like a lot of Long Island Railroad stations I've seen.
Woodbridge.
Okay, Perth Amboy's next. Up to now, all the stations have had high platforms, but Perth Amboy does not. Here's the New Jersey Turnpike we're going over. around here somewhere. There used to be a station that was discontinued many years ago called Janasco. Served this industrial area here. Okay, the line coming in on the left serves the New Jersey Chemical Coast. That used to be the CNJ main line towards Elizabethport, Jersey City, and Newark Market Street. Passenger trains used to take that before the Aldine plan went into effect. I think the interlocking here is called wood. Still a little decent color out there. Okay, coming into Perth Amboy. So doing some station work here.
Safety stop is Perth Amboy. Once again, you can doors only to exit. First up and call, walk back one car away.
Station sort of resembles a CNJ style station. Interestingly, Perth Amboy, there was a time you can get a ferry across the Arthur Hill over to Staten Island, to Tottenville, where you can connect with the Staten Island Rapid Transit. It's been long gone, but the piers for the ferry dock at Tottenville are still there. You can still see little wooden spikes sticking up. Well, now we're on the old New York and Long Branch, jointly owned by the CNJ and the PRR.
Next station stop is South Amboy.
South Amboy next. Once a famous railroad town. But before we get there, we're going to have a nice little scenic vista. is the Raritan River Bridge, an iconic landmark on this North Jersey coastline. Extreme left is the southern tip of Staten Island. Here, I believe, is called SA. Used to be an engine house down the track from here that housed the steam engines and the diesel engines that were used on the Pennsy train south of South Amboy. Of course, the CNJ ran with diesel power all the way from their originating point of Jersey City or Newark. This area is also where the Amboy secondary track starts. Raritan River Railroad serves South Amboy too. Site of many engine changes here on the Pennsy trains. In fact, they used to store the electric locomotives over there where those cars are parked. South Amboy. One of the geographic anomalies about South Amboy is exactly 30 miles from Penn Station in New York. But as the crow flies, we're less than 2 miles from New York City, because we're so close to the southern end of Staten Island. Used to be a railroad crossing at each end of the station. Manually operated gates, I remember those. It was quite an entertaining show to see the engine changes here. During the rush hour, they used to bring a brace of former Pennsy E7 and E8 units, maybe about 6 or 8 coupled together, and then they bring them down here and they break them up into 2-unit pieces to accommodate all the rush hour trains where they have to change engines on. Years ago, this station used to see the likes of Pennsylvania Railroad K4 steam engines, Shark Nose BP-20 passenger engines, as well as the E units, even former Southern Railway E units. Well, here's the old South Amboy Depot. This grade crossing is still here. was here in, I think it was 1976, in the summer. Came here to watch the engine changes, because it was Conrail back then, but the E units at that time used to run with, I don't know, they used to put kerosene in the fuel tank. So when the E units took off out of here, man, they filled this town up with acrid white smoke. I think there was a big fire in here. Yeah, the GG1s used to pull down here, and then they used to reverse through the switch and go back to the engine pit. Timetable mentions something about delays due to a Hazlitt grade crossing replacement. And there's single tracking. I wonder where that single tracking is taking place. I'm not sure really what happened here. We stopped for a few minutes. Next stop is Mattawan, Aberdeen. It used to be called Mattawan, but they rebuilt the station and electrified down there in the early 80s. And part of the station was touching the community of Aberdeen, so they gave it that hyphenated name. They were actually thinking of calling the station just plain Aberdeen, but the Mattawan residents protested quite a bit, so they kept it as Mattawan, Aberdeen. On this stretch between South Amboy and Mattawan, Pennsylvania Railroad K4s used to travel at 70 miles an hour. It was a nice high-speed section. There's a record album by Semaphore Records. It's called On Time. It features the K4 steam engines and a lot of recordings on the North Jersey coastline, including some on-train ones. Impressive recordings. Here's Raritan Bay here. You can see Coney Island way off in the distance. Out there somewhere is Sandy Hook Lighthouse. Another great recording that I have by North Jersey Recordings is called Rods, Wheels, and Whistles. Part of the CD has all Pennsylvania Railroad steam trains in northern New Jersey. Some great recordings of the Broker with K4s. There's a recording at Hazlitt Hill by the Hazlitt station of trains climbing the grade there going towards Bayhead. You hear an assortment of K4 steam engines, diesels, including some Monmouth Park racetrack specials pulled by steam and diesel. This is a storied line. A lot of classic motive power finished out their final days working trains on this line. C&J Camelbacks, Train Masters, Jeeps, including the GP40Ps, which are still running on New Jersey Transit, but you seldom see those engines down this way. Pennsy had the E units, the shark nose engines, and a few F units and GP9 examples. That K5LA of the ALP 46A clearly. You can see the reflection of that locomotive in the background, the shadow. Passing over the Garden State Parkway. Road's moving well now, but in the summertime, that's another story. Aberdeen. Or should I say Aberdeen Mattawan? They extended the electrification down to here back in the early 80s, and then by the late 80s all the way to Long Branch. Next stop is Hazlitt. Tracks over there, I think that used to be an old storage yard for the electrics before they extended to Long Branch. under the Garden State Parkway. Going through a phase gap. Hazlitt. Going towards Bayhead, you go up a grade through here. And in that recording I have Rods, Wheels, and Whistles. You can hear the broker sort of laboring up this grade with its commuter train and a few other trains going by as well. Trains going the other way could really fly through here.
Crazy again. You were stuck trying to walk across the street last week. The one I ran interference on.
You can hear 3243 talking to the work zone. Gotten permission to go ahead through it, track speed. It sounded like the crew was filling out a Form D to go through the work limits up ahead. They're working on a grade crossing. Next stop is Middletown. This is the place, Bethany Road. It's about the only place where these ALP 46 engines can blow their horns for railroad crossings. Interesting side note, there was a time when Jersey Arrows could run down this line all the way to Long Beach, but fairly recently the voltage between Aberdeen, Mattawan and Long Branch was changed to 25 kilovolts. So that effectively killed the Arrow MUs coming down here because they can't transition voltages. Speaking of Arrow MUs, back in 1988, when the electrification to Long Branch was brand new, they ran Arrow MUs down here quite a bit. One night I got on a train at Long Branch to go back to New York, and the connection from Bayhead was late, and the train out of Long Branch to New York was about 10 to 15 minutes late, and we had an Arrow MU. It was the Super Arrow MU. I want to tell you, that engineer cranked that thing up. He put on the afterburners on those Arrow MUs, went at the maximum speed, he braked real hard, and if you were standing up in the aisle, you would have fallen down, believe me. He really cranked those cars up. We got into New York 2 minutes early. Those things were really ripping. Back in those days, they could do that routinely. They didn't seem to care about substations taking a beating. But I'm sure those cars took a beating that night. Of course, the Arrow MUs are still running today, but they don't run nearly as fast or accelerate as fast as they used to. That was one of the greatest performances of time makeup that I ever witnessed. He was just throwing you back into the seat. They were known for that back then. Nice wooded area out here. There's the old station in Middletown, that building you saw back there, that gray building, used to be yellow, I recall. Middletown Station. Lots of track equipment, oh yeah. It's a one-track railroad. Okay, next town coming up is one of the nicest towns on the North Jersey coast. Well, there are actually many of them, but it's about the first really noticeable, elegant town you see is Red Bank. It's Got a beautiful historic depot there. And prior to coming into town, you cross over the Navesink River. Famous jazz song was written called "The Kid from Red Bank."
How far you got?
Strongly recommend a visit to Red Bank during the holidays. The town is beautifully decorated. And there's an Irish pub in there that's really dazzling with the decorations. Good food. The river walk in Red Bank is particularly nice on the holidays with the lights. Railroad tracks down there. Not sure what that is. Somebody could enlighten me. I know at Red Bank, south of the station, there was an old tower. The CNJ used to strike off down to Winslow Junction, went down to Bridgeton. The Blue Comet used to take that route to Atlantic City. Bank interlocking. And here's the Navesink River Bridge. Beautiful downtown Red Bank, New Jersey. Get a load of this train station depot. Look at that. It's classic. Walk back a little bit. Okay, move back further 2 cars in the upper level. Next stop is Little Silver. It used to be called Little Silver Ocean Port. And we just past the side of the old tower where the CNJ main down towards Atlantic City took off. On the other side. This crossing on that CD of Rods, Wheels, and Whistles, you can hear the broker going south out of Red Bank with a K4 accelerating past that crossing. Old Little Silver Station. Right near Seabright. Okay, our next and final station stop for this train before I transfer to the Bayhead train, Long Branch. Electrified in the late 80s. Long Branch is the birthplace of the boss, Bruce Springsteen. Long Branch is one of those stations where you can take a short walk, like maybe 10 to 15 minutes. It'll take you down to the Long Branch boardwalk. It's a beautiful boardwalk, beautiful seascape down there, a lot of restaurants. highly recommend it. Here's the Monmouth Park station for the racetrack. Years ago, they used to run trains right into the racetrack grounds. In fact, on that recording I'm telling you about, a couple of the trains that came through Hazlitt were Monmouth Park racetrack trains. Shortly we'll round a sharp curve to the right and enter the station at Long Branch. Is Branchport. Saw a hornet's nest on one of those trees back there. I had to knock one off of my bushes in front of the house a couple of weeks ago. I made sure they were dead first. Yeah, Long Branch is laid out. It's a center island high platform. The storage yard is on the south side. Tell you this little story back in the, I think it was the early mid-80s. It was almost a disastrous rear-end collision here south of here. A train, I read this, I don't know where I read it, but a train from Bayhead to Long Branch was running down the track. He was doing about track speed, getting ready to slow down and stop at Long Branch. Came up to a crossing south of Long Branch. The gates were up, cars were going across. And he was so close, he had to jam on the brakes, put it into emergency. Fortunately, he went past the crossing. He didn't hit anything or anybody. And he slowed down, and right around the curve, there was a stopped F40 with a push-pull set sitting on the main track. I'm sure that engineer had to change his shorts. Of course, the fault lie with the stopped train. He put the gates into manual, and he didn't clear the main track with that set of equipment. That could have been a real disaster. Okay, Long Branch, time to change to that other train over there. All right, leaving Long Branch on train 4243. Long Branch to Bayhead. We're powered by a PL42. Going through the storage yard here. Next stop is Elberon. Riding on a Comet 4 here. This train serves a lot of nice seaside communities, beautiful, elegant neighborhoods, stations, lots of waterways that we cross. That Semaphore Records CD I spoke of called On Time about the K4s. There's a nice lengthy on-train recording behind the K4 on a northbound train between Bradley Beach and Long Branch. Excellent recording. The ocean is right there, folks, on the other side of that bridge. This line is pretty much the domain of the PLs and the DPs, the newer engines. Very, very seldom do you see the older power down here. Nice old Elberon station. stop is Allenhurst. So sunny down here. Beautiful homes down here. That's the original Allenhurst station.
Allenhurst.
Okay, our next stop is the famous town of Asbury Park, New Jersey. Home of the boardwalk that you hear about, the amusement park. It's the birthplace of Bud Abbott. And it's the site of the uranium field that Ralph Cramden had. You know, they have a Lou Costello monument in Paterson, New Jersey, but they don't have anything for Bud Abbott in Asbury Park. He was the straight man. He wasn't quite as funny as Costello, I guess.
to Asbury Park. We're now arriving at Asbury Park.
Somewhere around here is the old North. We're right here. This is the old North Asbury Park station. It's been gone for decades. On that recording with On Time that I spoke about, that on-train recording, the train stopped there. Crossings.
Asbury Park.
I don't think Ralph Cramden did too well with that uranium field down here. It was part of his many harebrained schemes, like wallpaper that glows in the dark, no-cal pizza. Oh, I love the honeymooners. Invested in a parking lot for people to go to the nearby movie theater. People gotta have a place to park their car. But how did I know it was going to be a drive-in theater? All right, next stop will be Bradley Beach.
Bradley Beach will be next. Special 3 seconds between cars. Only if you go to 17 hours. 6 seconds remaining. Take stop between cars.
Steam engine pulling this train? Okay, coming into Belmar, B-E-L-M-A-R, nice old station.
Bradley Beach.
I'm sorry, Bradley Beach. Belmar is next. This looks like it's automatic black signal territory.
Yeah, we got a bridge open ahead of us. Shortly. Belmar will be next.
We're experiencing something that's not an uncommon occurrence on this line. A bridge is open ahead of us. There's no shortage of them on this line, especially the one at Manasquan. The Shark River. Interlocking is Shark. Belmar. I have a stepson-in-law. His name is Elmar, without the B.
Spring Lake next.
Spring Lake next. Spring Lake has probably got one of the nicest stations, one of the most nicest, probably the nicest, most elegant neighborhood on the line. K5LA on the PL42 blasting almost continuously. on locomotives on this line. Look at that station.
Spring Lake.
Beautiful town. Ooh, rough stop. More leaves. All right, our next stop is Manasquan. But many years ago, there used to be an intermediate stop called Seagirt. See if you can see any remnant of the old station there. They can move pretty fast between here and Manasquan, because on that on-time CD, on the on-train recording from Seagirt to here, he was really flying with that K4. But there's no more Seagirt stop. Was that the Seagirt station site there? Might have been. Manasquan Elks, Lodge 2534. Low-level platform, it's on the other side. After here we cross a famous landmark on this line, the Manasquan River Bridge at Brielle. It's probably the most photographed drawbridge on this entire North Jersey coastline.
Point Pleasant Beach next.
Point Pleasant Beach next, and then Bayhead. Another very nice town. Single track over this bridge. Here it is. There's a highway bridge paralleling on the west side. In the afternoon, you can get excellent photographs of trains going over this bridge. Yeah, it looks like low tide. Okay, we go back to double track. Our opposite train just left Bayhead, arriving Point Pleasant Beach. They usually have meets around here.
Point Pleasant Beach.
See what kind of power he's got. P45 DP. Okay, now we're on a home stretch to a final stop at Bayhead. It used to be called Bayhead Junction, but they took the junction out of the name. Bayhead has a loop track where years ago conventional concerts used to just go through the loop and they'd be pointed in the right direction to head back up the line. Now I think they only use it for maintenance of way equipment. Like the Aqua train, probably. Got about a 45-minute layover before we go back north. This is quite a long commute from New York City. I'm sure there are a few people who do it. It's been a fascinating ride down here. Born interlocking. Okay, arriving Bayhead. I got 309. Heading into the yard. That PL42 is nicknamed the Big Boy PL42 because of its number, 4014. Heading into the yard. That PL42 is nicknamed the Big Boy PL42 because of its number, 4014. Just a short walk from the train station. Now you know why they call that line the North Jersey coastline. And at 3:57, coming out of the yard with the PL42 on the front going to Long Branch, is our train back to Long Branch with the connection for New York. Proof positive that they use the loop track here. We got our big boy PL pulling, 4014. Let's listen to that K5LA horn. He's due out of here at 4:02. Better get on it.